So hello. Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and also support my small business at latricelimited.com. So what we have here, it says New York City block hires its own armed security guards to patrol crime-ridden neighborhood. So this is something that I just found out about. And actually I kind of knew that they did this a little bit, but I didn't know how frequent it was. And I heard about this a couple years ago, but apparently more and more neighborhoods are doing it. So essentially in certain neighborhoods where they're like, let's say the Bronx, for example, where there is a particularly high amount of crime, they are then like, you know what, we ain't doing this. So we're actually going to go and hire some armed forces to be here, monitor the area and let's see how it goes. All right. So it says, they say things have gotten worse since the pandemic started in the city. It's taking place on West 4th Street between McDougal and 6th Avenue. Residents and businesses put up $18,000 to pay for 2 officers for the month of August. Okay, so they're paying $6,000 per officer, which is, I mean, these are New York prices, I guess, because that's pretty steep. $6,000 a month. But I guess because, like I said, they're living in New York, so that is probably the normal amount that people are supposed to be making over there. But with that being said, it's like, they're getting these 2 officers. They're probably, maybe they're off duty, whatever. And then they're like, okay, I can make some extra cash while being over here. I do wonder this though. And this is something I've always really thought about, brought up since the pandemic has started. Every crime has always been there. Okay, we know that. But in the US, crime after the pandemic has gotten increasingly more rich, I guess you can say. Okay, it has just gotten much worse, more creative, I guess you can say, as well. And we're seeing a lot more jackings, a lot more killing, a lot more robberies. We're seeing, people stealing the catalytic converter. We're seeing people punch holes into people's gas tanks and trying to steal their gas that way. We're seeing a lot more things that are being present. In Austin, I know that there was this whole thing. I forgot the name that they called it, but it's essentially when you go to, let's say the Chase Bank, and then you come home. So you go to the bank, get some cash out of the ATM, whatever. Then you come home and someone follows you and then they steal your stuff. So it's something like that that's going on now, even more so than it was before. What I've said, I always say. So all of this is happening because people during the pandemic, which is still going on, people keep saying, oh, it's post-pandemic. It's still going on, y'all. Okay. But during the pandemic, people did not get help. Okay. You have people who lost their jobs. People are already struggling, just barely making it. And then you're like, okay, well, y'all gonna lose your jobs. So I don't know what y'all gonna do, but that's on y'all. Okay. We're good. I'm out. So that's the kind of stuff that has been happening. So people are like, yo, you got people who lost their jobs. You got people who lost their homes, their apartments, their rent has gone up. I was watching this little piece about New York, really. This lady, she said that she has to move out of her apartment. It was a pretty nice apartment too. She said I was paying like some of the lines of like $1,300 or $1,500, and it went up $2,000, not to $2,000, but it went up an additional $2,000. So it went up to like $3,000, $3,500, something like that. She's like, I can't afford this. Now I have to leave. And it went up in like a year, so people have not been getting taken care of, yet our government keeps sending money overseas, but then can't help us and turn around and say, yeah, y'all out of luck. We ain't got no money, but we could send money over here. That is the problem that is happening. All right. So yes, crime is increasing. It's no shocker that that's happening. But let me get into this. It says, when our security guards were present, it did seem much safer, and there was a sense of calm when we were walking the street. Okay, so people felt much safer while having someone that's armed, that's one of the good guys. Okay, that's armed, making sure that nothing pops off. But the moment they went off duty, the deluge of lawlessness returned. Okay, so it's like, what, you can't be there 24/7. You know what I mean? You just can't. So walking around, blah blah, I need to go to the corner store, whatever the case may be. I felt safe. Now that you guys have left, I don't know if I want to be outside. It says they're now evaluating their next steps. Okay. So that's something that I was looking at, and I'm like, I wonder if there's a cheaper way that you can do this. Maybe some kind of public funding. I mean, come on, we paying our taxes for what? You know what I mean? If we could pay to have officers, maybe you don't need to have as many officers in one spot. If you could just bring some to some of these neighborhoods, so maybe they don't even have to, because it was like residents and businesses that were putting in this $18,000. Okay, so if you guys could just like help out even more, that would be significant. Have the actual police department be like, okay, we're going to be stationed in neighborhood X, neighborhood Y, and do that, so that the people themselves don't have to put in as much money. Okay, because I'm wondering how many people were putting in money, because $18,000, pretty significant. I mean, how much are you putting in, per person or per business, per establishment? That's what I really would like to know about really what they're doing. I mean, I think everyone wants a peace of mind. Okay. That's just really what it boils down to, really what it comes down to. People want a peace of mind. I want to be able to go to my local convenience store and not have to worry, not have to be like this. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Is someone going to rob me? Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Nobody wants to have to do that, So I just feel like if the city themselves could help in a significant way to reduce this and also help with the crime in the area, that would be great. Because I mean, what can you do? You could say, oh, rehabilitation, but these people on the street, they don't care about that. Okay. They would have to get caught before they're not going to be like, well, I want to be rehabilitated before, I commit any crimes, so any money that I could possibly have made and done all this, I'd rather just be rehabilitated. Ain't nobody saying that. Nobody is saying that. Everyone's saying it. No, nobody's saying that. But I just wanted to share this story. I just thought it was pretty interesting that the community, because they notice that the city is not doing anything, so the community is having to work together, bond together, band together to get something accomplished, even if it's just for this. And for me, heck, I would. I look at some of these communities, like these housing communities, because, depending on where you're at, some houses are just random house, random house, random house, random house. If you live in a community, all the houses pretty much look very much similar. You pay your little HOA fees and all that. Well, shouldn't HOA fees go towards having, and I'm not sure if this is the same for this, I don't think it is, but if you are in one of those kind of communities that, let's say you do have a high crime rate or whatever the case may be, if you're paying HOA fees, shouldn't those fees go towards hiring like a cop in the area so they could drive around? That'll significantly help with break-ins. If you have someone constantly driving around, maybe they're just sitting posting, and hey, that could be your OT money for the day. You know what I mean? That could be your OT money. That could help them make some money for the cops, and this could help make everyone else feel safer within the community. If you're also in one of those community where people have 6 dogs and they all get out, you know what I mean, and they're vicious, you got a cop there, could nip that in the bud. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about this. I wonder if the city would help. It doesn't seem like they would, because if they would have already done it, But those are my thoughts and opinions. And until then.